from this morning, this AM. But yeah, just couldn't find the right spot that was comfortable to do this from. So I'm found a comfortable spot. I was last place I was going to do the show, and then some kids were around the area causing much of ruckus, having some fun, trying to cut trees down and shit. Oh, hi, I'm Zen, and you are whoever you are. And this should be a pretty big talk on a lot of different subjects, but very, very major ones where we are in this time space of the continuum of life. And what it looks like, what it is though. And we'll talk about Medusa, the plasma apocalypse, salt in your body, why people became petrified. I mean, if you're petrified, what are you, scared? Well, that's what it's an idea of freezing something. And freezing doesn't necessarily mean cold. It means to put into a specific position, to lock something into a position. Which, oddly enough, the word free is to free something, but to freeze something is to do the opposite of freeing something. A lot of fun, strange words like that have not different meanings, but completely opposing meanings. We'll get to Medusa's hair and what that has to do with plasma and electricity and salt and body and mummification. And we'll get into maybe I'd say the gods of America, and like where the original Egypt was. I'll give you a clue. It was in America. It was. Everything is in reverse. Everything's the opposite of what you've been told. Slavery happened in the opposite direction. It was not melanated people, it was white people. They were called Slavic people, became the slaves. The ships were going the other direction. They were not. Egypt wasn't first. Egypt was after the American, what you'd call America. That this was before that. I mean, to go back farther and farther, you could probably be like, well, before that it was this, and before that it was, playing that whole the birthplace of all of reality was brown melanated people in Africa, and that's but that would be a hard sell, because that was a white man's game to play. If you understand who was writing history falsely, they give you an idea that people came from Africa and that was the cradle of civilization, despite everything looking to the contrary. And then, so as we get into this idea, if you were to watch Gods of America, isn't that a show on in that first season? Watch that. They'll show you. There's a place in I think it's in Illinois, and it's the same place as in Egypt. It's very interesting when you understand the people there were taking people to the afterlife. And if you look it up on a map, it actually exists. And it's an old, rundown town, but apparently it seems to be older than, these wonderful places that you'll find on the Nile River. It's a couple major cities. If you watch the show or you watch the people there, they give a clue to something of what that place was. And if you look at the Mississippi River, you look at the Nile River, and you look exactly where this place is, it's where two it's basically called the land where two rivers meet, and it's the same. It's exactly the same name, and it is literally where two rivers meet. I forget the names in Egypt. I forget what the second name is. Obviously, it's the Nile, and I couldn't name the other one. In America, it's where I believe the Ohio River meets the Mississippi. If anybody knows the name of the place, go for it. We'll leave this as a... I was going to give it away, but let's play a fun little game. If you know the name of it, where is that? If you know the place, if you know the name in the Egyptian city, then you would know the name in America, the American city. And people have they're disillusioned to believe that everything came out of the Egyptian history, that they brought the Egyptian history here, when in reality it was here to begin with. It's like melanated people, to let you know, most of you don't know, you're not from Africa, you're from America. They're both Rica is rich, but the melanated people here were Native American Indians. They weren't black Africans from tribes there. It's not how it worked. It's a much different system. And so the original people here were and so this is why when you look at the censuses and things, look at the census. With census. Before the 1980s, there was no such thing as African Americans. There was different names. Go back farther. You'll never see that on the census. Because they started to dilute people's reality of their history. You don't know more than 2 generations deep. Most people don't even know 1 generation deep. You can't get before 1900. You ain't gonna know anything that's going on. So how would you know that that your ancestors came on a Slavic ship? Oh, that's right, because the Slavic ship, the slave ship, came from where the Slavic countries were, up into where. Why would, if they were in Africa, why would they go so far? Why wouldn't they come down to where Florida is, right? That would be that's where they would come off of the part of Africa, right? They wouldn't go up to the cold region, would they? That wouldn't make a lot of sense. See, because the people that came, they weren't stuffed beneath as knowingly. They weren't like stuffed beneath the ship. The ships were, let's get you to a new land. And it was like, when we talk about the orphan trains, why do you only see white children on orphan trains? Go look up orphan trains. Go look it up. You're not going to see any black children on there. And watch all the people that come to Ellis Island. There was no black people. They just, where do they put them all? Because it's not how it works. There's a reason why you go to any major city and there's about a 50-50 split of white and brown and melanated people. Because there's no way the population exploded from slavery just a little while ago and segregation to that's part of the city. No, the cities were already, there was already an intermingling, and majority of the cities were already melanated. There was no African tribe people. Africa is a continent. It's not a country. They got you fooled. Now, getting into this Medusa and the plasma apocalypse and salt and the Egyptian mummification process. I'm not going to tell you why they did it. That's a really long story, and I would only be grasping at straws to figure that one out. But we can plainly see how they did it, and we have some clues as to the purpose. And there's no, what kind of idiots? What kind of idiots if we call them? Because they're not as smart as us, right? So what do? We just take a body and put it in a box and bury it. Well, why were they doing so much? Why were they building these giant pyramids? Why are they building these giant buildings everywhere that seem to be of such high technology that we can't even figure out how it's done? Because nothing is what you think it is. Nothing. Not at all. Not even the reality you think you live in is so far from, like, your perception is so far from actuality. that's what it is. So when you start putting a lot of salt in your body, there's a way to petrify humans. Petrification. Now this can come in a few different fashions. Like we can get into carbon, or we can get to silica or silicone. I'll probably do that at a second level of how that all works, because I know it's really not important of how that works. Just that's what's going on. That there's silica system and there's a carbon system. We can see it right now, but it's always been that way. There's been trees that were made of silica, not carbon. Humans we're even. I mean, look at women get silicone breast implants, right? So are they not part silicon? How many people are already trying to plug into the computer? So you don't think that already happened? You don't think there's already beings here that were that way? You don't the giant trees that were fried when you run electricity through something, when you throw high voltage through plasma, and you have salt in something. So we can start to see that what salt is doing to mummify a body The reason for it is way too. That would be many hours. That'd be, yeah, too much information there. But we can see that certainly they were mummifying bodies, and how would they do it? Why were they putting oils on it? Why were they pulling certain organs out and putting things in it? What was their belief, and why did they have that belief? Because they were ignorant. They were so ignorant that they could figure out how to mummify a body. If I just told you mummify a body, you wouldn't even know. You would have to know high level chemistry. You would have to know high level chemistry, and not even speaking of chemet and Cometian and Moorish sciences. No, it's not even talking about. I'm just talking about just basic chemistry. You could never do it. You don't know how to make all that shit. You don't know why these kings wore crowns and these queens wore crowns with certain different jewels on it that actually have frequencies held in there. Like, time and time, this is kind of a harken back to some old videos I did that I said I was going to re-release, but I'll just touch on it now because I think it's important with where the world is now and everybody getting all these chemicals and weird things stuck in their body. And everybody asking me how to, well, if I have, or if I know somebody, like, how to fix it. Well, I mean, if you're ignorant enough to do it, I don't know that you'd want the process to fix it. You kind of just already stuck you stuck 1 foot into the grave. You stuck 1 foot into death. Like, why? Like, you want to fix it now? Now you see it doesn't work right. It's not what you thought it was. Are you sure? I don't know how many people have come to me and asked me, "Oh, I need to fix this thing. I'm having this major issue, this major problem with something." I was like, "Oh, I'll tell you how to do it." And they're like, "Oh, I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they want to do that." I was like, "No, fucking talk to me. Don't ask me how to fix something if you don't want to know." And so people like they're so brain dead, so bereft of doing any internal or external work, or even to do a little bit of research into anything. They find it it's too time consuming. It's too much. It's not. No, there's too much information. I don't know. I'm just going to go with I'm just going to take the popular opinion. You don't want to fix yourself. Nobody wants to fix themselves. You're perfect the way you are, right? So, the idea here is salts. The reason that salt is put into distilled water is so the electricity can jump an arc. You can't take distilled water and make beer because there's nothing in there to ferment. You need basically dirty water, because it cleans the water. And if you want electricity to work, you can't put distilled water because it needs to have 2 pieces of metal to jump through the water. The water is the coolant. It's the substrate for the thing to jump, and the salt is another thing that can be, because it's a cube. It can be shattered, and so the more voltage you run into something, you can break down those cubes and turn. You can turn something into a petrified piece of something because it will burn off all of the water, which was the substrate, melt the rubber, burn off the water, and then the salt becomes. I mean, think about it. I mean, isn't that what always happened in the movies? Don't they pillars of salt? Because it removed all of the water, and all of the water, the term water is in the word memory, water and light. It's Hebrew, water and light is memory. So you release all of your memory in your system because now it has no water in it, and becomes a pillar of salt. Because it became petrified because there was an electrical. You were running on a faulty system, throwing more salt in your body. Like I said before, I'm not going to get into why the mummification, all of that, because that's like so far beyond why anybody needs to know. The basic tenet of understanding, the basic idea is that if you want to become healthier, for your mind to work, for your brain to function. You want to clean out all of the salts in your body and in your brain, because you're allowing for outside influences of electricity to be shocked into your body to make you to jump gaps and make you do things. Your spirit, which is breath. There's spirit is breath. Clean water is clean water. If you're made of the elements, you know what I mean? Your skin is basically, here's your flesh, which is the earth. Here's your breath, which is air. Water's running through your system, and the fire is always in you. You know, that's the Dantian. Like your mind and your belly maintain fire. You're burning off and transmuting all the salts into ash, and your ash or your ass is, you know, your poop is the shit that's got burnt off in the transmutative alchemy of your body. And you get rid of that. That goes back into the soil. But people keep putting more and more salts into their body, and they wonder why their brain works 1 billion miles a second, and they can't think, and their body doesn't function. It's a very simple process, but yeah, I tell somebody, okay, you got to fast on water, drink piss, do this. They're like, well, I don't think anybody wants to do that. Okay, then you don't want to actually be healthy. I just give me a pill that I can take that will fix it. Well, I ain't gonna fix it. It will get rid of the pain. Well, I'll take that then. Okay. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me about that. I can tell you what, plant life will provide that, but then you're gonna have to do a little more research. And then you have to find the plant, and then you're gonna have to, make it yourself, and then you're gonna have to, make a tea, and then. No, can you just send me to the doctor and give me white pills? Yeah, okay. Get some more salt in your system. What's up, everybody? Who's up in here? The Bürgermeister. What's up, Divine? Memphis. The Memphis-Eve. Memphis is not correct. Interesting. I never really thought about the size of the bodies that would be in some of these, but I mean, here there's a lot of temples that are, or mausoleums and grave sites that are pretty big, but it's not Memphis though. You're wrong about that. Memphis is not the answer. Memphis is in a different city. It's a city that's where the Nile comes together with another river, and the Mississippi comes together with the Ohio, I believe, and it's in Illinois. It's in the lower South Illinois. It might be in Upper Indiana, but I think it's Lower Illinois. I'll tell you the letter it starts with. It starts with a C. Anybody? C word. Oh, you guys are welcome too. Donate, obviously. Thumbs up are always welcome. Those are easy. All you gotta do is push a button. Donations help, because I've recently been pretty empty of financial resources to purchase beer, wine, liquor, food. Paying rent has been kind of a fucking issue. So that's very helpful, because I'd rather be able to do this and talk to you guys, because push comes to shove, I need a roof over my head before I need the other shit. So this would be one of the first things I would shut off, and you guys would not, which would suck, because then because this is such a source of my income that eventually be without a household. Yeah, Divine, that sounds like yeah, you well, the ones here are not concrete. They're marble and granite and limestone and red granite as well. There are some that use red bricks, and there are some that use concrete, but a small number here. And the idea that some places bring you to the underworld, like I get the idea, but I really think that some of these mausoleums might actually be entrances to go underground, because there are so many places that have underground cities. Like, if you don't think there's cities beneath where you live, you're highly mistaken. I think most places have, like where I'm, epoch after epoch, era after era, however you want to break it down, however long you think it was, there's shit is built on top of other stuff. Like, it's buildings on top of buildings. I was looking at this picture earlier of most of these cities, these major cities, their underground sewage and waste tunnels are so like well put. They're so big. They look exactly like, they're so well put together. It's that they were made in 1900s. Get the fuck out of here. Then people believed this shit. With what? Were they digging out by their hands? They didn't have these giant big tunnel burrowing things that we just got 20 years ago. It'd still take forever to dig a hole, right? But if you look at it, it looks exactly like a train station. Like New York City, Baltimore has a train station. New York City, Chicago, all these places with train. It looks exactly like that. And there's actually a place. You look in some of them, there's like a shelf, and then there's something beneath it, and that's where everything's running. Like, why would you build it? It looks exactly. And it's like, certainly it was. That's what it was. They didn't build that. They're using underground city as waste. And now getting deeper into what's going on here, and from a level of what we've done to our human bodies, and what they did to ancient Tatarian civilization is not at all dissimilar. The way people just put garbage in their bodies. What do you think they're doing with the thing you were given, this perfect temple? You just keep putting garbage into, salt into, all of the shit. And you wonder, and this earth as a totality, like, we just keep putting more and more shit into it. And then we use these wonderful, these pipes, these things that were used to that were transit lines for beings, humans or otherwise, to go places. We just filled it up with garbage instead of using them for what they should have been used for. Yeah, makes complete sense. It's a macro and microcosmic thing that people do. Just because you have some people that are, keep a clean and healthy lifestyle, the larger energy of people being filthy, disgusting humans, like you can't be like, oh, because I'm taking care of the planet, because I'm taking care of myself, everything's okay. It's not how it works. I wish it did. I tried it for a long time. The fasting thing, the vegetarian thing, I tried all that shit. Didn't fix the planet. Oh no. I mean, did it help my life? Sure. Not dismissing that. So I'm not saying people shouldn't do that, because you should. But just the larger energetic structure of everybody. Everybody just doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Like, What's up, C Noble? So my question from earlier, what is the name of the city that is in America, that is also in Egypt, that is where the two rivers come together? And the river in Egypt is the Nile and some other river, and the rivers in America are, I believe, the Ohio and the Mississippi. It's definitely the Mississippi, but on the Ohio. And the name of the city starts with a C. And if you look at it on a map and how it's broken down, and you look at the city, and then you watch this movie called the Gods of, I think that's the name of the movie, Gods of America. Is that what it's called? It's not a movie, it's a show. They use that town as a reference point for something. And everyone that's there is Egyptian. It's these Egyptian people that mummify people. I mean, they were Native American, see, but they're giving you a clue that America was the prior land, that we weren't taking the You know, like we on our dollar bill. Oh no, we're taking Egyptian stuff from over in Africa. No, 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 no. It was here already. It went the other direction. The privileged aristocrats. Well, yeah, I mean, the golf courses, living, you know, on top of a golf course, what's beneath it, right? Really interesting. This dude, his name is Marcus Rothkranz. It was so interesting how I learned of this guy. His name is Marcus Rothkranz, and it's because he did an interview with Don Tolman a while back, which I thought was really weird. That's how I found out who he was, and I think he did an interview with maybe David Avocado Wolf. Anyways, he's into photography and things. Apparently, he's really, really big in Hollywood to some degree. I don't know. Perhaps he might be. He looks a lot younger than he is. He's been around for a while, and he said that he owns a house on a golf course that used to be. Now I don't know like where the lies are, or if he just lucked out, or if he really is that important and he's just kind of doing his thing. But he owns this house that is on a golf course that he's like, basically, I can't show you some of the house because it used to be a doomsday bunker for the president. If you look this up, look up Marcus with a K, Rothkranz, and he takes you on a tour of his studio, and his studio has the craziest shit in it. He's a photographer, and it seems a little bit far-fetched, but the point is that he's talking about it being, he has to take an elevator down how many floors, and he's like, we can't get off here, I can't show you some of this place. That's crazy talk. And if you look at it, you're like, wow, what the hell's going on beneath this? What's going on down here in this bunker on a golf course that was owned by the President of the United States? Like, what? The four corners. Yeah, well, I mean, the word corner is the word coroner. So a corner, what a corner does is it traps light. Look in the corner of your house. It's a 90-degree angle. It traps light. That's what a 90-degree angle does. And what does a coroner do? That's where you go to die. It traps light. Oh yeah, I mean, when you consider what we think of as history, that we think of history as everything was in black and whites, people were in horse and buggies, which I'm not denying that this is the majority of like some of it's like most of it's true. Like obviously in the 60s we didn't have computers. We didn't have computers. In the 20s we didn't have cell phones. And we didn't have all the extra high tech stuff. Not saying it wasn't there. Not saying people didn't already have it. Not saying, and to think that like, I mean, you know, between the resets and everything else, however they may have occurred, that technology has been like when these things were built, especially when you get into some of these giant buildings. They're like, oh, this was built in. They're giving away the game. They say this was built in 600 BC or whatever. You're like, how? Like if we were just in buggies, like we're talking about evolution, we were just in horse and buggy. What were they doing then, and how did they build that? That's insane. And that's, of course, we're not given the entire story, which we're not even close to giving. Yeah, they work in the angles. They work with the angels, yeah. Yeah, I mean, angels good, bad, and different, man. It's irrelevant. You know, it's like when you talk about different stars and different, to say a number is good or bad is stupid. But saying angel is good or bad is stupid. Certainly we can see that some frequencies are constructing and some are destructive. But if you were to build something and you want to destroy it because it wasn't built properly, then you could use the frequency to destroy that so you could start again. So it's not to say that, you get into Shiva and Shakti. You can't just say Shiva was destroying things for the sake of destroying. Some things need to be. There's so many things on shaky foundation that you can't just getting back to this angle thing, you can't just say 90-degree angles are no good. Like in a house, should they be there? Probably not. If you wanted a space that was comfortable and livable and energetically sound, you would never put 90-degree angles in there. However, there is a purpose for 90-degree angles in doing certain things. Well, I don't know how long I'm going to be on here, y'all, because I somehow made the error in not putting my plug in my bag, so I can't charge my phone. And I only have so much juice on here, and I don't want to have to go back to the Cribbles to charge this joint. So just consider the next 10 minutes if there's anything you guys want to dig into. Because if not, I'm probably just going to call it a show, and then I'll plug in and probably come back on later tonight, and I'll have some more to goof off about, and I can rehash some of these things for people later if they're not understanding and not getting into angles and cubes and things. So a cube being it's called a cube of salt for a reason. As a cube unfolds to a cross. There's a bunch of crosses and cubes, and the black box and Mecca, and there's a lot there. But I've covered that so many times. I don't want to get into that here. Like Metatron's cube. And see, again, there's nothing wrong with cubes or straight angles or anything, or straight lines or angles. I just how and when they're used. And we have the errant habit of putting improper angles into living spaces. Spaces that should be living should not have these types of, like your house should not be a box, just like a coffin. Those angles in a coffin, like look at the way it's made. Like it could be just a square box, which is the way they make it now. But look at the old ones. They were a little different, right? There was they went out, they angled this way and they angled this way at the top, at the shoulders. There was well, there's a reason they did that. Energetically. I mean, there's a reason that in nice houses they have crown molding. Why? Because that space that would normally be in the corner of your house, right there at the top of the ceiling, they don't want a 90-degree angle there, so they use a compound dual bevel miter saw to make a bunch of different angles and cornices and all this cool shit, and they put that there, so that way sound and energy is deflected, and it's refracted in different ways off of there. So it's not a dead empty space. But most people's houses don't have that. See Noble at the cat box. Yeah, I mean, for whoever doesn't know this, I will what I might do is just not delete, but take all of my videos down and then just release them one at a time. Because I have some earlier ones that if you haven't seen them, they go really deep into the etymology of say why a house is built and all of the words and the angles and the, you know, getting into things like basements and what walls are as laws and ceilings seal something and floors, or if you flip that word around, there's a roof, which is ROOF, and a floor, which is a FOOR, and you put a 90-degree angle, you get a, see that? I break all that down, and then why there's, in your basement, you have a pan L. It's a pan. An L, it means God. Then you have a panel with electricity, and in that panel you have a square. It's called square D. It's called a square D breaker. Yeah, it's half the sun. A D is half of the sun. So then you have an on. You know, the god, the sun, on, Heliopolis. And then you have off. So you have on and off. And then on and off is on a square D, in which the square actually is containing the half of the sun. Like it's, you think people just, you think they were stupid and didn't know shit when they were making these things a long time ago? They're signifying it. Yeah, I just always, you know what, I just figured most people were along for the ride and got because I've done so many of those videos like that. But there's a few in my early stuff that are just a breakdown of that. You don't get to see my, you don't get to see my stupid face, and I didn't talk this way. I did a big one on, you know, the Fisher King and fishing, and why a fishing pole has a lure on it or a lure. And I did a whole board on it and drew out the entire board. You know, a line, and in Hollywood somebody delivers a line, and that line is within a lore or a story. And so the idea of the Fisher King and fishermen and the fish in school, like I just broke all that shit down. Those are good ones, man. I enjoy those. But after you do them a couple times, I don't want to keep doing those. I couldn't imagine, like, you know, people that teach classes and they're like, oh, I'm gonna do this like six times a day for the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna do it next year or next semester when I can't stand that. It's already there. Go fucking watch it. The horizon, yes, the horizon. Well, if anybody wants to buy me a beer, this is my last beer that I have. And after this, I'm fucking fresh out of cash. That'd be the last sip of coffee I have, because I'll be up all fucking night. I can't drink coffee in past like 3 o'clock, and I know it's got to be like 5. Huh? Oh wait, no, it's only 4. Okay, last sip of coffee, because caffeine does a number on me. Well, I don't know anything about that, you know. I would have, the whole idea that the Chinese or the Russians and the United States, there's only one government. Anybody that thinks otherwise is really confused. It's been that way for a very long time. It's the illusion there are different countries. It's like you live in. It's like living in a different country. This is the same as living in, okay, I live in America, and you live in the UK. It doesn't mean there's not different towns, different cities, there's different ideas, different things going on. You know, that's all there is, really. The rest of it, with the flags and the wars and shit, that's not really happening. It's all illusion. It's a big illusion. These people ain't fighting over shit. They'll encourage you to fight over shit. They'll definitely do that. They're a bunch of Don Kings, right? Just go and, amp this fight up and watch these two people drive around in their tiny little cars, get in an accident, and get out and fist fight each other. Hey, go for it. And we'll all watch and gamble on it and make money. The amount of people that still really believe that there are like major wars going on are confused. Like there ever has been. I'm not even getting into all that. I'm not even getting into Civil War, World Wars. That's all. It's all garbage. I'll just give you that much. That wasn't what was happening. I'm sure throughout history there have been some. Oh, no doubt. But now, not the way that they present it to you. No way. But you could convince people. You could convince people there's wars over in country, like with countries, because you can convince someone in this country that Orange Man is bad. Now these two, whatever they are, they're worse. But somebody still believes that they love Orange Man. But I thought wasn't he part of the blue team, and this guy's part of the red team, and he's part of the orange team, which is red with a little bit of white in it. I don't even know, but you know what I mean? Like, you can convince them like that Democrat or Republican is better or worse. It's like saying Pepsi or Coke is better. Like, it's ignorance bred on ignorance, and people are really out there still believing that Trump wasn't part of it. He was trying to free us all. He was trying to help everybody. I mean, perhaps he helped somewhat. But in the grand scheme of things, didn't he have the whole project to get the stabby things out to everybody? Wasn't there a name for that he was trying to get that out to everybody really quick? Why would you do that? I don't think that would be in anyone's best interest if he knew what was going on, which he probably does. But then again, hey, even if he's trying to help, he can only help so much, huh? But the people that really believe he's like in it for, like, you've been time and time again presented with the simple, plain fact that all elections are selections and they're rigged. It's just so obviously, it's just presented and you go, oh no. It's like believing somebody that's selling you something that they're gonna discount their own product. They're gonna be like, oh no, this product sucks. You should probably not buy this. No one's gonna do that. It doesn't matter. They're just keep buying the product, and they're gonna keep selling it. No one's gonna just go, oh, you know what? What's wrong about that? You remember when I was never on camera? So do you like was it interesting for people that were, because I remember the first time I put myself on camera, because somebody was like, I want to see who the fuck is this that's making these videos. Is anybody surprised that this is what, like, if you listen to my early stuff or my middle stuff when I wasn't on camera, is it surprising? Or is it interesting at least? Skull, you got some old drafty droughty Guinnesses with some raging hemorrhoiditis. Yep. Oh yeah, in the old school too, you probably had a lot of the instead of having stop signs and shit, you had circles. So what are those called? Roundabouts? If you've ever even looked into studies on roundabouts, it fixes the flow of traffic, and it reduces accidents like 20-fold. They're so much better, so much safer. And like if you're around, like I've seen them around Virginia, D.C., and a few other places, and other places that put them in to see how they worked. And without question, some people don't like them. They go, oh, because they get a little nervous when they get to it because there's no stop sign. There's no one telling them what to do. They have to just interact with what's going on, which presents them with a, whoa, now you get people paying attention. So no stop sign, no go. You just gotta where I fit in, and the people that are going around the circle gotta go. Is someone trying to get in? Everyone's paying attention. Gets rid of, and the accidents that happen are very, very small. And as the thing's happening, the flow of traffic is better. Because I mean, think about it. How many times you can't just, sometimes during the day there's heavy traffic, sometimes slow traffic. Well, it doesn't matter. You just go. When it's heavy, then it fixes it on itself. When it's slow, it fixes it on itself. Right? But if you keep a red light going all day, when it's slow, that could back it up even later, even worse. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea that some of the people in the, okay, if you're part of those groups, I'd like to point out, as I always do, not everybody is evil in those groups. I don't believe in the necessary good or necessary evil. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that cut and dry. There are some really fucked up people, but there, even these things, there are people that are assisting, and there are people that are using things for ill-gotten gains, their own benefit, and there are some that are more using the esoterics, the occulted hidden knowledge to assist humanity, and there's some that are using it to keep for themselves. It's obvious, but it's interesting to think like, hey, maybe Trump is doing the best he can, and with what he's given, like what he has to battle, right? Because even if he, I mean, think about it. Even if you watch these spy movies, and you got this one, they were doing, like, they were a double, triple operative. They were working for the Russians, and they were colluding with the Istanbulians, and they were the American. They were all, it was like that, like all in all, like who the fuck cares? Is it helping? Is it getting people better? Are people becoming more aware? Are people eating well? Are you doing good? How's your mentality? How's your brain functioning? Because it really only comes down to that. Food is so far on the line on what you need. If your brain works fine, your body will work fine. Spiritually, are you okay? Everything else is just kind of like a little added bonus, Some things are helpful, sure. Some things help to us. These physical things help us. Certainly. But hey, as long as your mind is alright, as long as you're feeling okay, that's pretty good. Skull, I hear you. Yeah, the roundabouts are what's up. Yeah, I am. They're both. Yeah, see, people always they get curious about my diet. Like whenever I say I eat whatever I want now, but that's maybe that's an overstatement of I eat whatever I want. I don't eat whatever I want. I don't eat. I do eat some garbage. I eat things that are probably not that good. But having a healthy mind about it, it's not what you eat. It's how you. It's how you. Are you enjoying what you're doing? Because in that you can digest things better. Is your digestion working well? Like, it's like saying, here, come do what I do. You couldn't do it. Most people would be out of shape. But if you got into shape and you cleaned your body out, you could start to do things that might not be good for your body, as long as you kept a mental health about it, and you understood from a, I don't want to say shamanistic level, but at least how you could focus on making things in your body, cleaning your body out. You could do all the dirtiest shit you wanted, and then here, I'll take a little bit of vodka, clean out my blood with this, add some distilled water, and all of the things that I did that were, like, you just ate like a fudge brownie that came out from a Little Debbie fudge brownie. You would say, don't do that. Yeah, I would tell 99% of people don't do that. Why did I do that? I fucking wanted to. and because I also know the harm that will do and how I can immediately squash that. You know, like I can process that. Most people couldn't. But if you do whatever you're, if you do, if you do it with a healthy, happy, if you do it with a happy heart, you'll be good. That's, I think, one of the biggest things that I heard. It was really interesting because I had learned it from someone that was not a healthy person, and they were eating. They were dealing with I forget what their. It was really interesting because they were helping people with. They worked at a hospital as a. This is really funny because I didn't know it existed, but it did exist. People that are. I'm gonna get the word right, but I think I'm gonna screw it up. It's like people that they're empathetic, and they can kind of divine what other people's sicknesses are. You know how dogs can kind of smell someone, they can tell when someone's sick in certain ways, and people can do this. And so she was like, she did this for hospitals where she would go with doctors, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with the patient, and she'd be like, oh, this is what's wrong with them, and they would do those kind of tests and go, holy shit, she's right. And so hospitals would employ her to do that. But she had some really fucked up shit that she was dealing with, where she could do all that, but she couldn't fix herself, which was really weird. It was really strange. But she had told me, you can eat anything you want as long as you do it with a happy heart. And I was like, well, how the hell are you so fucked up? Like, it just didn't. I mean, I got it. I understand it because, even healers need to be healed, kind of thing. It's kind of like whenever I've done Reiki work on people in the past, and if I didn't breathe right, I would take on their emotional and physical elements in my body, and the next couple of days I'd be a fucking mess. And then after I figured it out after a couple of times, I was like, I didn't ground myself, I didn't breathe right, and I was doing some work on somebody, and I would hold my breath in, and it would collect the energy. And I'm sure she did the same thing. So point is, what I was getting at is just eat, consume, and do whatever you do with a happy, healthy heart. Happy heart. It'll take you a long way. What you am I gonna try the evolution, some Darwinian shit? Yeah, a mind of my own. Yeah, that's I don't know where that came from. I really couldn't point to a certain a singular thing. Some people they do some psychedelics and they have that aha awakening something. That didn't happen to me. I mean, obviously I've done some substances in my life, obviously, most of them, and I've done some big doses of things, but it was never like right afterwards I was like, oh, like, I mean, certainly I've had those times where I was like, oh, I see how the world works, but that goes away. Like you do DMT, you do salvia, you do enough mushroom, certain kind of psychedelics, you can see things, and it will even one of the craziest for me when I seen the most, which is most people like, if you know, oddly enough, it's the safest and easiest to acquire, and it's legal, is nitrous oxide. Which is really funny, and I'll tell you a bunch of reasons why that's very funny, because it's a laughing gas. But during that, I was able to almost bring back, how you have those like dreams. Like last night I had this really crazy dream, and I knew when I woke up, I was like, it was a dream as solid as this, and it was perfect. And I was remembering it. I was remembering it, and I was like, all right, when I get up, I'll let me write this down. And I woke up, and literally my mind went blank on the whole thing. Kind of like whenever you do certain drugs, and then you come off of them, and you can't access that same point of reference. But with the nitrous oxide, I was very close to pulling some of the information back. But that was much later in life. And okay, so here's the interesting thing about the nitrous oxide. So apparently what happens during the plasma apocalypse, if this happens, there'll be, because of the different gases that are in this realm, the I'm trying to explain it in a the density of things will change. Density and buoyancy of things will change. So gases will displace in different areas. It won't just be like the heavy ones are down here and light. So if you were to open the top of the dome, and there was a dome on top of this that had opposite, and you were to like let gases intermingle and mix, there'd be a moment where things would not be exactly where you think they should stand. You know, people will float. People will, depending on what substance are inside of them. And some of that substance is said to be a nitrous oxide. And so some people will laugh until the point they pass out. That they'll get delusional. And in a lot of movies that you watch, they give you a clue into that. And I did a video last year on David Blaine when he did his last episode of, what was it called? I did a really long one. It was the day it came out, and it was one of my better videos, I thought, and people were really digging it. It was David Blaine's, when he went up into the stratosphere, and then he went to a freezing chamber to see how long he could stay in there, and then he went to get into oxygen deprivation. He did oxygen deprivation and went to these freezing chambers and shit, and it was literally everything about it was pointing to a plasma apocalypse and the changing of what happens in the gases in this realm. And if it's not up on my channel, I'll go try to look for it and release that as well. Speaking of C noble, the noble gases and the noble metals. What's up, Kabar? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh no, and it's funny because there was a time I was like, okay, screw it. I want to know. I want to see what happens. I want to. So I did a lot. Like fucking. I did a lot just to see where I could get my mind to see if I could handle that. And there was a point where I could do quite a bit and it didn't affect me. And I was like, so if there is a plasma apocalypse thing that's gonna be popping off, I'm gonna get myself prior to it. As we get close to that day, I'm gonna get myself some whipped cream. You know what I mean? And do that so you get your mind right, so you're able to handle. Like people can do a balloon and get kind of like laughy and sideways. Like people can drink one beer and be like falling all over the place. So other people, they can handle it, right? But the same thing with oxygen, getting less oxygen, and different chemicals in their system through breathing. And so that might be a helpful thing, because I know Jay Dreamers was talking about getting oxygen containers, so when these happens you can breathe the oxygen containers, because they sell oxygen now, right? Which I think is a good idea. Stock up on that if you can. But because I think things are the opposite than most people do, instead of getting more oxygen, I want to go the direction that it's already going in. That way I'm already ahead of the curve with it. So if that's what happens, I'm already good with it. Like, think about it. In the Matrix, he goes, "Do you think that's really oxygen you're breathing, Neo?" And I take that to the realm of, if you've ever been out of body, if you've ever been in the dream world, ask yourself, am I breathing? See if you have to breathe when you're out of body. What are you doing? Oxygen is not what you think it is. So if there's other substances, if there's other things that we do have to take into our lungs to expand, contract, and put into our system, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I can't be sure of these things, but hey, you gotta test the waters, huh? If you want to know how to swim. Galantamine, yes, galantamine is, galantamine, and if you use galantamine with Red spider lily. Look into that. Red spider lily. It's called. Oh, that's the plant. But whatever the name of it's an out of body dream herb. Um, but if you use galantamine with it, I'm pretty sure that's what the two use together. Kabar, the red balloons too. There you go. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, ketamine. Ketamine is a horse tranquilizer. I don't know. I mean, I know, but I know what ketamine is. Obviously, but I don't know that I don't know that's a solution to what if the energies change in this realm. I don't know I don't know that trank would do it. I think that perhaps, perhaps. Yeah, I've heard that too about the. Although I always throw that kind of stuff into the mix of, yeah, maybe, who knows what that was. I wasn't there. I don't know. A lot of these, how many of these yogis and shit. I'm not saying that there aren't people that can levitate. I'm not saying there's not masters of um, throwing energy out of their hands. I'm not, because I personally can do some weird shit, and I've seen people in front of me where I set it up and they were able to, like, in the glass jar move something, and you know what I mean. Like, I know this shit works. I know it happens, but when it comes to that kind of shit, I always go, yeah, there's too many. I don't want to say snake oil salesmen, but there's too many people trying to get rich off of shit. Like, those people they're grabbing something out of your stomach, and here's a red, here's something, they pulled something out of you, and it, like, no, again, most of these things probably can be done, but you can also fake them, and I think more people are faking them because it would take too much psychic and spiritual energy to actually do those things. So, and furthermore, here's what I'll say about that part. About just because he can do it, what the hell fuck shit damn cocksucker motherfucker cunt does that have to do with any of us being able to do it? His life ain't your life. I mean, that's awesome if he really did and he was inspiring people to, like, get to that point, but how you get to that point? Skull. Oh, the ducks are laughing at you. Yeah, the other dream plant that I like a lot is it's the one that leaves you entry into the white brotherhood, basically, of the Exosa tribe, Xosa, and it's African dream root. And there's two kinds. One is red and one is white. The red one gives you more mental clarity. The white one helps you get into the dream realm. You gotta do it for a few days, but once you have enough in your body, yeah, have fun with that. It's called. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. I always forget the name of it because I only do it sparingly because I'd done it a while ago. I'm seeing some pretty crazy shit. It's not kratom. I mean, I like kratom. Kratom's fine. Kratom's good. I like the effects. Like right now, I wish I had some. I don't have any left. Out of kratom, I'm down to just some vodka. I'd rather drink beer. I don't really want to drink vodka right now. There's a little duckies there. Zosa, yeah, Zosa tribe. Look up that. Look up the African dream root and exosa, and you'll find what it's called. And kratom is awesome depending on the amount and the color, because they're all different. It's very much like weed is these days. What kind of weed are you getting? Some of it doesn't work well with people. Some of it's an upper, some of it's a downer, some of it's a stimulant, some of it's a depressant. Oh, yesterday I got to feed a swan. That was crazy, because swans are fucking huge. They're very big. Like, I was sitting down feeding the ducks, and the swan came over. I was like, shit. And so I was like, I'll feed him out my hand. And he tried to bite my finger off a couple times. And so I stood up just to let him know that, like, I'm bigger than him. And even after I stood up, he was about my height. I was like, oh shit. But no, it's cool. I got to feed the ducks, the geese, and the swan all at once. It's pretty rad. Oh, the swan makes the geese and the ducks kind of go, oh, a couple of them just dip. They're like, nope, I'm out of here. They ain't trying to get pecked. What you say? Depends on how much of an unkie you are. Skull, you talking about with the swan? I mean, the swan didn't really fuck with me. Like I've seen that there's two big ass swans out here, and they're way bigger than the swans that I've seen other places. Like I've looked up videos of them, and they're big. The ones here are gigantic. So whenever they're around, I'm like, oh shit. I don't know. I could probably find one right now and go. I could probably go see him. Yeah, they're swans are very protective of their young, and they're very they'll let you know. Like Canadian geese are just loud. They're loud and aggressive, but I'll punch a Canadian goose in the face. Swan, well, no. I mean, I would if I had to, but swan, I'm just like, all right, cool. He wants some food. So I'd throw him some. Well, I just don't think he understands how big his face is or hers. And so I would have as much food as I would in my hand, fill it up for ducks and for even the geese. And it would take them, even like 4 or 5 of them eat in my hand, and it would take a little while for them to eat it. This swan comes over and 2 bites, and then he's trying to get a little more, and then all of a sudden my finger's in his mouth. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I don't think he was trying to. Kabar, it was a white one. I don't know if there's a black one here. We have 2 white swans. Let me see. He might be over here. I could probably let me check. Give me a second. Oh. No, he's on the other side. If I walk over there, here, let me show you guys. Where is he at? Oh wait, maybe he's over here. Hold on. Here, let me see if I can show you. Here. So this is where this is my new little loci for the day, because somebody stole my spots that I normally hang out in. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so see that one right, let's see, let me get my finger in the right spot. See that one right above my finger? So there's a boat right there. Now see that one right there that you can see? That's the swan, and he's way far away. Now, if you look to the right of him, those tiny little things, those are geese. Those are big. So I know I can't really keep it that steady. The big one to the left there. Okay, so you can see the people right there that are walking. And see that thing? When he gets out of the water, he's as big as those people. With the little ones he's next to, you see they're at the same. The thing that's next to him is a goose. The swan is like 5 times the size of that goose. Yeah. they're what do the kids say these days? They built different. He just built different. Okay. Well, this is not too bad of a spot that I found because I got like got a cool little cozy area over here. And the ducks usually, oh, there might be little turtles out there. The turtles out? Oh, you guys want to see the turtles? You guys even see the fucking turtles? Check this out. There's my little turtle friends right there. See them? There's turtle guy there and turtle guy there. Oops. Hello, little turtles. So that tree, so let me show you here. So that tree is, I think that one fell over in the hurricane. And so they hang out right there. It might have been the last hurricane that fell over, but they bug out right there. Ha 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 ha. The old turtles. Okay. What's up, Janice? What you doing? Duck, duck, goose. Oh, you've been chased by them? Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna chase you and they're mad, I probably would run too, because they're pretty fast. Well, the craziest thing to me was how big their feet were. Their paws, whatever you want to call them. Feet, paws, I don't know. What do you call them? They're huge. Cause that was what made me realize how big it is. And when he puts his things out, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude, settle down. And the noise they make is much different. It's much more like, fuck you. It's like, fuck you, get out of here, I don't want you here. So when he first started doing that to me, because I was feeding all the other ones, so I think he was kind of thinking that I wanted to like take one of the geese or ducks, or if he had any of his out there, I don't know, or hers. I couldn't tell, but once they started yelling at me, I was like, I just threw him some food, and then I put my hand out, and I was like, you can't really hurt me, but like if you bit me or tried to attack me, it wouldn't go well for you. I would end up having to kill a swan. I don't need all that in my life, but it was if it was chasing me, I would dip. Yeah, swans got. See, that was funny. See, that's because I'd heard that, and the first time when I was feeding him, and he bit my finger. I knew he wasn't trying to bite me. He just wanted the food, but he did grasp onto my finger, and I was like, whoa, because the geese have done it. The ducks can get my hand a little bit, and I know they're just getting the food, and I could tell like if he wanted to bite me, it would have been bad. It wouldn't have been a dog. I've gotten bit by big dogs before, so he ain't gonna do that much damage. But the flippers. Yeah. What's up, Braintree? Why is that man killing that swan right there? I'm like, because I need dinner. I need to eat. I would immediately get a grill. We'd be grilling out some swan steaks. I mean, I don't know. Everybody thinks it's cool to be eating, unless you want to get into bird law. Everybody wants to kill ducks and eat duck, with some duck liver and all that shit. I just want to. No, hold on a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to mute this because someone's playing some music right now. Hold on. Okay, check it out, y'all. This might be like yesterday. I can't. If you guys want this to stay up, I can't keep playing. I can't I can't stand here because that music will infiltrate this, and then some algorithm will play, and if that music is on here, oh, they cut it. Okay, cool. Never mind. We're good. But if any music comes on and it's on here for too long, I gotta shut this shit down. Ooh, there's a puppy. It's a blue nose, gray pit. Oh shit, there it is again, fucker. Okay, so check it out, everybody. That person, they're playing music over there, and I can't have that on here. So check it out, y'all. I'm going to have to call this a show. It's good to see everybody. Stay cool. Yeah, I know. Blah blah blah. I can't have that on here. So maybe I'll be back on in a little bit. Let me go get my charger, and I'll come back out in like half an hour. Good to see everybody. If you want to donate, it's very helpful. I don't have any cash. I'm fucking dead, out of currency right now, and I would like some beer. So if you want to, feel free to donate. And also make sure, more importantly, you take care of yourself and people around you when you can, and be yourself, because everybody else is taken. And I got to get the fuck out of here because it's music, but we'll be back soon. Toodles! Bye, bitches!